Welcome to In the Know. Our guest today is a comedian who's been making waves in the stand-up world, Sam Miller. Standing at 6'6", he's been called the Paul Bunyan of comedy, bringing big laughs and bold stories to the stage. Now, you may have heard him on the Bob and Tom Show or read his work in Newsweek, and now he's gearing up for a run at the Jukebox Comedy Club with sharp takes on sobriety, parenting, and even time in Yakima jail. No two of his shows are the same. And Sam Miller is here to tell us more. Good morning, Sam.
Man, who the heck called me Paul Bunyan? I wasn't ready for that, man.
Well, speaking of, you've been described as Paul Bunyan of comedy.
I have now.
Big in both stature and personality. Yeah. How did that nickname come about?
Well, I'm 6'6" and 360 pounds. I have no idea how that nickname came about because I guess people on the internet, man, they're after me. So.
Well, you've been performing in comedy for over a decade now. What was the moment you felt like things really started to take off in your career?
Honestly, the Laugh Factory in Chicago gave me a huge opportunity early on, and then also being on the Bob and Tom Show. And also, I heard my mom bragging to her friends about me one time. That's really when I knew I heard my mom, she talks to her friends on the phone, she's like, you know, I don't get it. Some of his stuff, but people like it. And I was like, I'm in, let's go.
So your mom's cosign kind of propelled that.
Yeah, nice. And me and my mom are close. I've been clean and sober 16 years, and like I used to get in a lot of trouble, and a lot of my comedy deals with like those issues. But everybody likes my show, and yeah, I don't care if you drink at my show. I ain't gonna do it, but you can.
Well, you've been performing comedy for over a decade now. What was the moment when you felt like things? Oh, I already read that. I'm sorry. Your comedy touches. Your comedy touches on your experiences with sobriety, right? Parenting, and even some time in jail. How do you find the humor in those personal experiences?
Well, for me and like folks like me and people that hear this that understand are gonna understand. Like to me, like humor is like survival. Yeah. Like I have been through a lot of hard stuff, and a lot of people have been through a lot of hard stuff. And even though you might get locked up or something like that, they can't take jokes. Like you can still run your mouth, and I've been running my mouth forever, and now I get paid to run my mouth. It's awesome.
So it just comes natural.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I was making fun of the weather guy before we went on. No offense, dude, we're cool.
So your comedy touches, or you recently recorded your first album and special, Round Trip, with an award Grammy-winning producer. What was that process like for you?
It's a lot, because usually when I'm on stage, like I got my jokes, but I don't know when I go up on stage what jokes I'm gonna tell. And then also I riff. I don't do a lot of crowd work. I think that's kind of overdone in comedy right now, but like I will. It's hard because I have to be disciplined. And then I think about, I want it to be the best representation of me. And I feel like that first album was that. It was great, Round Trip. I'm very, very proud of it. I'm proud of most of my shows. It's very rare that I perform and I get off stage and I'm like, I didn't like that one. I usually like it. So.
As you should. So you've been a recurring guest on the Bob and Tom Show, as you mentioned earlier.
Yep.
So how has that exposure impacted you?
It's helped me a lot in the Midwest, especially. Bob and Tom is like especially big in the Midwest. Like they have listeners all over the country. But yeah, and I didn't know a lot about the Midwest, and I come out here and I like it. I'm a married fella, but I love big women. And the Midwest, man, I'll tell you what, they got a lot of big people out here. I like it. So
the Bob and Tom Show has been very influential.
Yeah, and it's also kind. The other thing too, and it's the same thing with the Laugh Factory, same thing with Bob and Tom, is that it was very validating. Because even though I think I'm funny and other people think I'm funny, like I still deal with like mental health stuff, and I have the addiction stuff, and sometimes I don't feel the best about myself. Sometimes other people are way nicer to me than I am to me. Yeah. And so like being on Bob and Tom and being invited to the Laugh Factory and the Jukebox Comedy Club this weekend, it feels very validating. It's like, oh, like,
it is validating. Yeah. You have to give yourself grace.
I do. I try. I'm working on it.
Yeah, so what's next for you? Any upcoming projects that we need to know about?
Oh, geez, man. I just got a lot of shows booked.
Good.
Yeah, my website has all my tour dates. If you go to sammillercomedy.com, you'll see all that stuff. And I'm not trying to be Mr. Plug or nothing, but that's, you know what's weird is that I don't know where my next shows are. I have to look at my own website to figure it out. But yeah, I am at the Jukebox this weekend. Nice. I love the Jukebox. It's the most comedy club of any comedy club I've ever been to.
Nice. And what are the prices tonight for the jukebox?
What's up? The prices? That's pretty cheap. I
Okay.
don't know. It's not bad.
Alrighty.
yeah.
Well, Sam Miller, thank you so much. You have been outstanding. If you or someone you know would like to join us on In the Know, go to 25newsnow.com/community, follow the features tab, and submit the form.